So I got some nice weather here, and it's a good day, and I've got cleaning them up. I got another trade in there. It's going to be a separate video, waiting on a gas tank for it. And then I just got this trade in right here. He traded for the Murray that had the big bicycle wheels on it that I put new front wheels on and did the works to. It is a, well, first off, he doesn't have the carburetor all the way on, and he's had it apart. But it's a 7 horsepower Troy-Bilt rear wheel self-propel. I do have the air filter cover and all that good stuff over there. I don't have an air filter for it, but if I get it running, I'll put a new one on it. Everything looks to be in decent shape though for what it is. If I can find the let's see how old here. 2004 it looks like. October of 2004. It's been serviced somewhere or was used for some other purpose by another owner. The guy said that his boss gave it to him to use, and it doesn't run. So the oil, I'm sitting on a slope, but there's oil in it. It's touching the dipstick and it's fairly clean. That's a good sign. If I can get this back on the right way, then we'll be in good shape. I'll get back to that later. But a couple things I noticed right off the bat. The self-propel was, the tightening screw, it was way out here, and so the handle was really tight on it. But I can hear something moving inside there, but it is kind of hard to push. So I wonder if something just needs freeing up in there. I'll have to check if I get it running. And then the second thing I noticed, I'll tilt it on the side here. Second thing I noticed is that it doesn't have a blade on it. I don't know if he took the blade off. I don't know if this is the reason why it won't run. But there's no blade on it. I've got one, and I've also got a blade key. That's no big deal either. The deck overall is in, okay shape for its age. Wheels are tight. Looks like the self-propel's engaged still though, so I'll have to work on that a little bit. But I knocked off 20 bucks off the price of that Murray to get this as a trade-in. So I'm going to start working on it, and I'm going to see what I can find out and see if I can get this thing back going again. I think it's got decent promise, so we'll find out. So we'll have to put a gas cap on it too. That's no big deal. This one's all broken, brittle. But everything's here on the carburetor, thankfully, even though we did take it apart. And for obvious reasons, that will be why it's not running correctly. It's got a bunch of old gas, gummed up gas in the bowl, in the carburetor. And it has stopped up the jet here. Not on that side, but on this side. You can see that there's crud all in it. So I'm going to give this a cleaning. That should do it, I think. And if it doesn't, I do have another carburetor for the overhead valve engine, exactly like this, ready to go if it doesn't. So I've put the carburetor back together and put the air filter thing back on it. I do know that I heard air going through the primer bulb, so the primer bulb's good. Gas cap, and this blade's a little bit eat out, but the cutting surface of it is good. Actually came off of that mower right there for the time being. Just to give this thing a shot at a start. And so we got all that fixed. Let's take it down there and see if it'll start. Alright, let's see if we can get this thing to start up. ton of gas in it, but as y'all saw, it started on the first pull, so the self-propel is not working right now, so I'll have to give that a look, see if I can get that fixed. Yep, started on the first pull. Still got to do a little work to it. I'll keep on plugging away. Well, I'm pretty sure that the self-propel the mechanism is gone in it, because usually on mowers like, you know, my personal pace over there, which I got out debating on putting the engine on it, that's off of this since the self-propel's not working. But usually what happens is you turn this pulley right here and it'll turn the axle, but as you can see, I'm turning the pulley and it's not turning anything, so looks like the mechanism's out, and then are stuck because whenever I try and turn the wheels, it turns the axle on its own, which causes it not to roll well. So I'm either going to do one of two things. I'm either going to take the engine off and put it on my Toro here, which I don't think I'm going to do, for the simple reason that this deck is still in decent shape. And if I disable the self-propel on it, yeah, it'll still be a kind of a heavy mower, but it'll still be very useful for whoever buys it. And so since this deck is not trash, that's one of the sole reasons why I might, or probably am gonna keep it on here. So yeah, I'll just keep on going like it is. So I looked at the self-propel. I took the little gearbox off down there, and it looks like one of the plastic gears is not linking with the key that turns the wheels on it, and so it's misaligned, and I don't really have the parts to fix it, so I'm just making this a regular push mower now. And all I had to do for that was, these wheels had these sprockets on them, and they fit on them like so. And so all I did was take the wheels off, took the sprockets off. Now I'm putting the wheels back on. This one's a little bit difficult to get on, but it turns freely and acts like a regular push mower. So I'm going to do that, change the oil in it, clean it up, make sure it's not leaking gas, and I'll give it a run for you guys. So this thing actually cleaned up well, even though the self-propel doesn't work on it. Just had a lot of dirt on it, and since it's getting kind of dark outside, the colors are showing a little bit better on the camera as well, so probably looks cleaner on camera than it actually is. But I got the carburetor to stop leaking too. I'm gonna let it sit overnight with gas in it just to make sure 100% that it's not leaking again, and ran it a little bit, and I'm gonna give it a final start and run here for y'all. Before I do that, I'll show y'all. Ended up putting that blade on it and just kind of grinding off the back of it where it had the sharp edges on it, and sharpened it up, and it seems to be good. So I'm going to keep this blade on here, but let me put this down and I'll give this thing a start for y'all. Still had a little bit of water on it, that's why it took so long, but that'll dry out and burn off, because it was starting on the first pull. So not running perfect, but still running pretty good. Doesn't have a ton of gas in it either, but it is a bummer that the self-propel doesn't work on it. But I've sold quite a few of them where I've disabled the self-propel and people have still come and bought them. It'll only be like a $70, $80 mower max, but so I'm just going to let it sit overnight and have a little bit of gas in it just to make sure it doesn't leak out. And if it doesn't, I'll put it on Craigslist and have another happy customer with another mower. And I put a new air filter on it as well. So yeah, it's nice. I got another trade-in. They'll probably start becoming more common here as April and May roll around and people find out that their mower from last year doesn't start. So, hope y'all enjoyed seeing me fix this thing up, and thank y'all for watching.